I don't think people under the age of 25 realize how advanced the world is today. I remember what it was like 25 years ago, in the year 2001. Most people still use VHS and cassette tapes. Um, CDs were still expensive. Most people have never burned a CD. Most people rarely used the internet. There was no social media back then except for AOL Instant Messenger. Imagine the only computer you used was a computer the whole family had to use and take turns using. So one person would use the computer at one time and another person would use it at another time. Imagine only be able to use the internet during certain hours and when the microwave wasn't running or the phone wasn't on because you had to use the phone link thing. Just imagine not having a computer in your pocket. Imagine most people didn't even have cell phones back then. There were people with cell phones, but it was rare. Most people still used pay phones and, the phone on the wall. You had to remember people's numbers back then. You had to actually have a Rolodex of numbers. This was 25 years ago. I'm not making this up. Like your phone at your house didn't keep the numbers. Some of them did if you were rich enough. Cars, power seats, automatic power seats. Those were a luxury. Automatic windows were a luxury. You actually had to roll down the window. I'm not making it up. A lot of cars still you had to roll down the window. There was no backup cameras. There was no electric cars. This is only 25 years ago. There was no streaming services. You actually had to go to Blockbuster to get a movie you wanted, and they had late fees. There was no, Amazon was brand new. You can get stuff off of eBay, but it was rare. I mean, you have no idea just how advanced people. There was no GPS. There was no GPS devices that were reliable enough, right? So you had to actually use a map or MapQuest in order to get somewhere, or ask the guy at the gas station. This was 25 years ago. You guys, I'm going to be 37, so I remember this fondly. I remember all of this. I remember using floppy disk up until 2007 when flash drives became more popular. 2007, 2008, email wasn't really reliable back then. This is just, I remember the world back then. You actually had to pay to get on the internet, like AOL, the AOL internet. Google was still brand new, so barely anyone used it back then. I'm telling you, the world back then was, it seemed if you were to go back 25 years ago from today's world, it would seem like you were in ancient times. You think that you would be able to survive it, but I'm telling you, even people that the people who love the 90s or the early 2000s, I'm telling you right now, if they went back to the early 2000s, they would not last more than a few weeks, because actually probably more than a few days, because they wouldn't know how to get to their job without a GPS. They would have to use a map. They wouldn't know how to go to someone's house without MapQuest or something. What if they got lost on the way? They were screwed. They would have to ask the guy at the gas station. That was the world back then. That was not that long ago. There was no apps. There's no smartphones. There was none of that shit. You could have a PDA if you wanted, like a thing where you like a smart kind of like a smart device that you could write things in. But other than that, like that was the world. And this is only 25 years ago. Like we advanced so much in 25 years, and now we have AI. I could imagine in 25 years we have you know, self-driving cars will become commonplace. Um, AI would take a lot of jobs, or probably most people would do the jobs that AI can't do. And the world would just be a lot more advanced than we think. We couldn't even imagine how advanced the world will be in 25 years. I mean, just think about the last 25 years and how advanced everything has gotten. I'm telling you, I remember it. I remember, taking a floppy disk to school for my project. I remember um, email not being able to support a lot of things. I remember um, only having one computer or something. And when you were in a computer lab, you know, that was like the only time that you had access to a computer or a library. I'm telling you, like, it was a very different world. And I still remember the iPod coming out in 2001, 25 years ago. That was like alien technology to us back then. That was like when we saw, like, we never even heard of anything like that. Like I said, most people are using cassette tape players, Walkmans, Sony Walkmans. I mean, a lot of people didn't even have CD players walking around. And we went from that to iPods within that year. That's what changed everything, man. Was the iPod. I'm telling you, that was so revolutionary back then. And then only 6 years after that, the iPhone came out. And then again, I remember being in high school in 2007, and there was rich kids that had it. And it was like alien technology to us. I mean, seriously, like no one ever saw anything like it. It was like the most amazing thing we've ever experienced. And I don't think people realize just how stunned we were by the new technology that was coming out. Because like today, in the modern era, with all this AI and whatever, no one's stunned by it anymore. No one's like shocked by the technology advances. It's because we were so used to it. But I'm telling you, back then, it was so revolutionary. Like uh, the iPhone, the iPod. I mean, it was revolutionary.